Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, doing a brief update on the recent pullback to the downside. Some interesting things have been occurring. We've definitely seen a lot of liquidity grabbing occurring and Bitcoin is crashing hard. In this video we're going to be talking about the price action, what we think is going on, what we think is going to happen next and all that wonderful stuff. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Okay guys, let's actually just jump into this one candle that we're just witnessing right now. I just want to kind of articulate something that I literally just saw 2 seconds ago. And what happened here was basically Bitcoin was just hovering around this area. It wicked right up here, grabbed all of those stop losses, wicking them all up and then dropping all the way down. This is the problem with liquidity from leverage players. Basically people are shorting the market right about here, right? And they're putting their stop losses in, right? So they're putting their stop losses up here in this area that makes the most amount of sense. And then the manipulated market pushes up, grabs all the liquidity and then dumps all the way down. So we've seen a lot of this. Now, from the stream that we did this morning on Twitch, we were talking about how the sentiment was pretty much heavy on the longer side. So basically, we're seeing about 60% of the market or the people and participants of the market going long. Okay, this basically meant that there was liquidity on the lower end of the scale. So it makes sense that the price gravitates towards where the money is, which is obviously down in the price chart. So we've seen the liquidity getting grabbed. We've seen it being basically just being manipulated out of the system. Lots of stop losses, lots of people getting absolutely wrecked in the space. And it's happening very, very fast here on BTC. So we want to be very, very cautious, right? A lot of people will eventually go short on the market. And that will open up liquidity up here. And before the price either goes down, it will wick it out and take the liquidity before moving down. Or alternatively, the price will just rapidly move up over consecutively over a few candles and basically grab as much of that liquidity as it possibly can. So just be aware that this market is incredibly volatile right now. We've got the CPI numbers, which I think is in this screenshot just here. So we can see here that today we've got the inflation rate on Germany, we've got the US inflation rate, and we've got the CPI numbers, which is happening right at the point of recording this video. So we know how they're reacting negatively, and we're seeing the liquidities grab right at this particular moment as well. So let's actually just zoom back out of this for a second to actually start taking stock of the kind of macro structure. Now, we were talking about this potential move to the upside. I think this is basically long and gone at this point. A bounce to the upside will happen. We just don't know at what point that's actually going to start. Okay, so the 19,650 through to 20,270 seems to no longer be viable. So I'm going to remove that. I'm also just going to adjust this fib because there's no point in having that one on there whilst we're still trying to complete this move to the downside. Now, the obvious move here, if we can see this little three-wave structure there, was that this fifth wave may not actually be done, and maybe this is a part of a much bigger play and we just can't actually see it. So we've done 5 waves over this side, for example. If I go ahead and actually remove this one, for example, here's 5 waves coming down. Are we looking for that next set of 5 waves? Okay, and that could be a bigger play. And could explain a little bit of the issues that we're having here. You can see we're very, very close, right? You can see this wick's now coming back up. People were shorting. So what's going on now is there's a bit of buying pressure coming back in. Anyone who was shorting is getting liquidated out of the system. And if I did throw the liquidity indicator on there, you can kind of see here's the main stopper. Now this, I do think we're going to come back down on, and we're going to move back into this range. This is going to be the 1.618. This will grab this liquidity, and then that will allow us to actually mark this up as a bigger 3 or 5 wave structure to the downside. You can see there's liquidity up here from shorting that wasn't grabbed. All that is still valid and viable, so that's still going to be potentially something that comes at maybe back at a later date if they don't close their positions whilst shorting. So at the moment, looking at this, we kind of go with this move to the downside here. We can articulate maybe there's a bigger move to the downside here happening, and we're just not seeing it just yet, but maybe it's 1, 2, this is going to be 3, up for 4, down into 5, right? And we start to really talk about that. Now, if that is the case, we also need to acknowledge that actually, what might be going on at this point just here through to this high point here. Now, we can argue that maybe wave 1 starts here or here. Doesn't really overly matter terribly too much, but we'll leave it here for now and just see. We'll be looking at about 17,786 to finish our 5th wave low point if this pattern does play out. Okay, let me just remove that liquidity off of there for a sec. So basically, yeah, we'll be looking at that. Now, that's taking it from this high point here, but if we were to adjust it to this one, then we might actually end up with a slightly different target range. Let's go ahead and just pull this on, which we would put right on here. and that would be 17,800. Okay, so again, that becomes a little bit more easier to kind of swallow. So those are the kind of numbers that we're looking for. So let me go ahead and first of all just put a little pin right on this potential low point, which would be 17,800 approximately, and I'll remove this fib here, and then I'll put another pin just in this one. This one's going to be basically the 18,172, and then I'll remove this one off of there. Okay, and move this across. We can kind of see this structure here basically being our map down towards our $16,000 target that we've been talking about for a while. Now, we were, of course, when we should acknowledge the 5-wave drop that we had a little way back, but all of this might just be a 335 corrective structure at the moment. If it does turn into anything more, then we'll be able to map that in as well. But for the most part, we are tracking some very, very interesting kind of structures, and obviously the main low point being basically 17,622, which obviously is a new lower low if we were to come down lower than that. So we want to be a little bit aware that this could potentially be cascading us down into those low ranges. However, when we do complete this 5-wave structure, or 3-wave and bounce around a little bit, all that is kind of possible at this point. We should acknowledge where the stochastic RSIs are sat. Okay, we're oversold on the 1 hour, we're oversold on the 8, the daily, and the monthly time frame, but the 4-hourly has still got some progression to the downside, so we're not completely done just yet. And this is one of the things that we've been looking for and looking to kind of see on a big move to the upside. I do think a big move to the upside is going to happen at some point. This is kind of going to be driven from various different kind of levels of liquidity that basically are huge buy-in volumes that are going to send that price upwards. But I do think we need to kind of finish off the corrective move on our 4-hour chart before we can do that. Okay, now essentially, if I come back into our hourly, the charts are very laggy as there's so many people on here on TradingView looking at this, I think. But essentially here we are seeing a reasonable kind of expectation to a move to the downside. So do expect some more volatility. This is all kind of based on the CPI numbers and the things that are going on that side. So not anything unusual. Crypto kind of crashing quite badly here at the moment. This is a fantastic opportunity. And as I said on the live stream this morning, I'm interested in maybe expanding some of my positions because this is the kind of scenario where actually you can see end of structure and we can actually potentially capitalize in on a slightly bigger swing to the upside. But do be aware that this is incredibly volatile, high risk, and during the bear market there's actually a lot more people doing liquidity grabs, because that's the best way to kind of make money in the bear market. So people are swinging around. So if you are in leverage positions, be very, very careful and cautious with them. It's not an easy market to navigate at this particular point in time. So just be aware that things are moving quite rapidly. Now, when it comes to the whales and things like that are going on, do watch back the stream that we did this morning where we did talk about the who's buying and who's selling and all that kind of information. It's very interesting. Yeah, so do check that out. I'll put a link in the description down below. If you want to learn a little bit more about what is going on, join us down in the Discord server. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So for now, guys, do expect some more volatility. I'm expecting maybe a bit of a push to the upside for wave 4, a bit of a push to the downside for wave 5. And then once we are completely oversold on the 1, 4, 8 and daily charts, I'm expecting a bigger swing to the upside. But guys, I'm going to leave the video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.